Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making Haitian Diri Kole, which is just like a Haitian brown rice. I'm going to be using red beans today, and I'm going to be showing y'all step by step how to make this staple Haitian dish at home. So let's get right on into this cook with me. So over here, y'all, I have just started boiling our beans. So you're just gonna wanna boil it in some water. Before I put this in here, I actually went ahead and sorted the beans. You wanna make sure there's like no rocks in there. If they're like super dried up beans, I usually toss those. Ones that just be looking off, I just toss them, and then I put all the beans in here. And I'm gonna show y'all what it looks like when it's actually cooked and ready to make our rice. All right, y'all, so our beans have been boiling for a while now. When you want to check if they're ready, just make sure to squeeze them, and if they squeeze easily like this, and then you are all set and ready to make the rice. Over here, I just took a small chunk of a red bell pepper. I took a fork and went ahead and poked some holes in it, and here I'm just inserting some cloves because for us Haitians out there, I know we hate when we bite on a jus. This is a really easy method to avoid that. Now that our beans are fully cooked, I'm just going to go ahead and drain them, and make sure you keep the water because this is what is going to give your rice color. Now that our beans are set to the side, I am going to begin cooking some olive oil in a pot. This is the brand that I love to use. I'm just going to go ahead and move this oil around and let it warm up and get hot. This oil needs to be hot so that you can fry your epis. Now, if it doesn't sound like this when you put it in, your oil is not hot enough. Alright, y'all, so we are gonna let this epis fry up in the pot and let it cook and get a little bit browner. I also put garlic powder to fry with the epis. I just randomly started doing this one day and I've never turned back. I don't know, I feel like it helps you to get a really good fry for some reason. Now we are going to continue to let this fry for a few more minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and drop our beans that we set aside earlier into this mix. Over here, I'm just throwing in a bouillon cube, and that's just for some flavor. You want to make sure you're continuously mixing whatever step that you're in, just to make sure that all the flavors are integrated nicely. Now I'm just dropping in that water that we set aside when we drained the beans. And that pepper with the cloves, we're going to drop that in too. Now that our bean water is in, we're going to get started on our seasoning. This is what I'm using today. I'm just going in with some adobo. Some Mrs. Dash, y'all know this is my favorite. Next up, we have a little bit of cayenne pepper, just a little bit for a little bit of a kick. Some ground black pepper. Some thyme. You can also use like the thyme leaf themselves, like the whole sprig, you can throw that in there. And we're gonna mix it all together. Last but definitely not least, for our seasoning, I'm just throwing a bit of salt in here because the seasonings I use don't have salt in them. And then I'm also going to go in with a Scotch Bonnet Pepper and toss that in there too. Then I just went ahead with a new spoon, y'all. Just do a quick little taste test. Make sure you do this to make sure your seasonings are all good to go. And when your water is boiling like this, it's time to wash your rice. So I'm going in with this cup measurement to measure for y'all. This is the rice I'm using, brown rice today. And I am about to go ahead and wash our rice to toss in that boiling water. So I'm serving 4 people for the next 2 days. So I went ahead and did 4.5 cups of rice. And as you can see, I'm just washing the rice, draining it, and then repeating this a few times. Don't skip this step. It's really important to wash your rice. Now that our rice is washed, we are all ready to put it into that boiling water. As you can see here, the way I measure, I guess, is I just make sure there's like a little bit of rice, as you can see at the top, and that makes me know whether or not I need more rice. With experience, your rice to water ratio will just come naturally. I went ahead and put us on high heat so that we can dry up most of this water. This is about like after 8 to 10 minutes. As you can see, the rice is still pretty wet, but most of the water is dried up. At this point, most of the water is reduced, and we want to make sure that this rice dries up and it's not wet at all. So we're going to go ahead and put a lid on it and leave this on like medium to low heat for a little bit. This is after some time. It's pretty dried up at this point. I'm taking out that Scotch Bonnet Pepper. As you can see, it's still intact. And then I'm gonna find that pepper clove concoction that we got going on, and I'm gonna take that out as well. Now look at our rice and beans coming together, y'all. It's looking great. At this point, I'm turning our heat all the way to low to let the rice, again, just cover for a bit more time, and you can leave it like this for a while. I'm pairing this with salmon today. This is the salmon that I made on the side. If y'all want this recipe, let me know. And this is the final result on our Diri Kole. Isn't she beautiful, y'all? I'm just plating this. It was so delicious, y'all, when I tell you. Thank you for joining and cooking this staple Haitian dish with me today. You can pair this with so many different things, and here I paired it with some salmon. Again, if you want this recipe, just let me know. It's super juicy and flavorful. My family loved it. And if you tried this dish out, let me know in my socials at As Told by Brandy, and I'll see y'all next time.